just feels that way. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me. My name is Mary Jane Tracy, and I'm here as your spiritual love of life coach, coming to you with the 411s of the cosmic escapades and shenanigans of the planets around us. And what's going on, man? What's happening? Well, welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm headed to Muggle World for work. Oh, wow. What are you doing, Lexi, now? What are you doing for work? What is your muggle job? I'm drinking my nettle. Friday was nuts. Thanks for the updates and what to watch for. Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Hey, Kylie. Hey, Kayla. Welcome. Yeah. So what office work at a very large campground? Ooh, that's crazy work right there. I just heard campground. I got nuttiness. So welcome, everybody. So I'm not going to keep your time too long. Just wanting to explain some of the things that are going on in the world. Try to. Well, one of the things in yoga and even within other practices, we're calling this time that we're in. I know a lot of people, called it the Renaissance. I heard some astrologers call it the Renaissance age and stuff. And I was like, oh, that doesn't make sense to me because we're certainly not in any Renaissance age at all. I mean, yes, there's new innovative ideas and, thought form coming in, when it comes to computers, AI, etc. But when we look into more of, say, Ayurvedic and going into the Sanskrit and things, which is one of the oldest written words, and there's um, still books in that with this written word in it, right? So one of the things I found fascinating when I was doing my little looking down at a corner, a hole, it's called the Kali Yuga. Now, if you've been following me when I did my Divine Mother cards, Kali kept coming up, Kali, every time I pull a card. So I put them aside because I know she keeps coming up. But Kali Yuga started about 5,000 years ago in 3102 BCE and it had to do with Krishna left our earth, and in it will to the 427,000 years after Kali Yuga. It's called the Yuga cycles. So the Yuga cycle begins, and again, it is the one that is the enlightened age or the golden age, which is the Satya Yuga, and the transition takes place with assistance, who rids the earth of hordes of beasts like humans, beings who have lost a sense of their humanness. And now I found this fascinating. Just bear with me. I found this so fascinating. The reason why I found it so fascinating is because we are on a journey on finding what humanity is. That is part of when I look into the astrology. We're on a journey to find that of our own humanness and how we are, with information that's coming out with many different scientists, whistleblowers, etc., about those who took the elixir, not that elixir, but took an elixir, and they're finding out that it was a gene therapy. Now, when I was reading more about the Kali Yuga and talking about, because this was talking about the humanness, then a small handful of sages and aristic kings emerge from their hemorrhages to repopulate the earth and commence the Satya Yuga. So this energy that we're in right now is the age of coral and hypocrisy. Human society has endeavored virtue and is driven by selfish interests, right? Now, even among religious leaders, and it's widespread corruption, and people in a general have a very superficial idea of what it means to live a good life. And that's the thing, is that we have this idea. What is it to live a good life? Where, when we look at it, we people think, oh, it's, having a beautiful chateau or house. It's having a beautiful car to drive, being able to take luxury vacations. That's what it is to live a beautiful life. So within our humanness, within our humanity, there's a lost way. There's a lost way of what it truly is to live a profound way of living. And this is why when you see many who've stepped away of the humanness, the divide, the separation from being human to adding in all the different types of genders, right? That's separating them from the humanness. That's separating you from the soul. And we're in this age of separation. We're in this age of trying to separate you from your soul, from that of the truth of coming into the connectedness of being your truth, finding that happiness. And your happiness is finding simplicity with whatever you do. It could be the laughter of your children running around in the backyard. It could be you mowing your lawn. It is where you find that and embrace that energy, that meaningful meaning to what we are, and having to be more secure. And as we become more secure within our own selves, then we are in a place where we are naturally able to help others. That is a lot to do with the heaviness of the astrology right now. It is coming into this pressure cooker, and we're in the first, the quarter square of the moon, where the moon is squaring the sun. The moon is in Scorpio. So we have this energy of bringing forth this change, bringing forth a transformation for us. And many times we want to escape from it. We want to go and we want to escape in some kind of way. So we are in this energy that we need to recognize the truth is a virtue meant to be upheld in the civilized society. However, this is where, where the end of the Kali Yuga, even the concept of truthfulness will be foreign to the average person. Now, when I started to read that and I started to really sort of take a moment and meditate on that, I thought, we are in an age where truth, what is truth? When I did the cacao ceremony, and I one of these beautiful goddesses asked me, she said, what is it one thing that we need to know? And I said, it's truth. Knowing your truth, aligning yourself with the truth of you with your divine, aligning yourself with that. That is what this energy is coming in. But we get swayed because there's so much stuff bombarding us, coming at us. And it's like, oh, what do we believe? Is that true? Or, oh, well, maybe they are a cat. You know, you know, this is coming into this energy. And the process, due to the harsh environments of this age, the process of self-actualization of what they call the Kali Yuga is simplified. Our lives are short and we have few resources at our disposal for pursuing spirituality. Therefore, and they call Krishna appears in the age of Siddhi Chantiya, and it's a process of chanting the names of God. So to the best and the easiest method to attain. So that's why in many times when you go to, like, you'll go, there's a chanting, we chant, Om Namo Guru De Namo. When you go to a mass, there's a chant, there's a, what you say, blessed the Lord and least, I guess, whatever it is. There is a chant. There's something that when we are repeating certain words, certain energies, especially when it comes to that of the divine and the higher selves, we are changing that energy within us. That's why sometimes when you play uh chants in the back, when you're playing different energy music at a different hertz, it helps to vibrate that energy through, bring the energy through, and help you to stay within that truth of you and your enlightenment with that of the divine. And as this energy is becoming more and more intense, and we're coming up to the fullness of an Aquarius moon, this is coming into our truth, our enlightenment, our being of human, of being a human. And being a human is having us to allow ourselves to come from the ego and into our heart and being guided with that heart energy. In the world, we are seeing clashes and fights and people not wanting to agree with you or fight against you because they are in turmoil within their own selves. They are not in their center. They are not in that energy of coming into their bliss. Or could we say their blisters? Because when you are starting to follow your dharma, your bliss, your energy, it's not easy. There is there's a change within you, and not everyone around you is going to like what you do, agree with what you do. There's going to be clashes, and within those clashes, this is where you have to see the clash and then move from it and say, I understand. Everyone here has a different nervous system of working with what it is that they've come to do. Some who are come in to be, the grassroots, work on the streets and do that, they have a different energy system to be able to do that. I don't. That's not where my energy system, or be a politician. That's not where my energy system is. I'd probably go in there and blow up the whole fucking thing because I'd be so frustrated with it all. That's not where my energy system is. But there are those that are within that's part of their what they've come here to do. For me, it is to be the teacher, to be the spiritual love of life coach. That's what it is for me to do. I'm here to help, to guide, to teach, and for you to go and investigate what the hell I'm saying. I could be spewing off something and you may not like what the fuck I say. That's okay. You don't have to like what I say. You don't have to agree with what I say. It's up to you to find that truth and that alignment within you. It's like when I when I listened to Russell Brand, and my husband hated Russell Brand. He just like, I don't want to listen to that guy. Why the fuck you got that guy on there? He's so fucking crazy. I said, just listen to what he says and listen to how he interacts and how his brain works, because I could see how his brain works. He could be a bloody asshole because he's a Gemini. Geminis are fucking assholes. Hate to say, I got Geminis in my life, and I love Geminis. I love you guys to death, but man, you guys can be fucking dicks because you just say things and you don't. Sometimes there's no please, there's no thank you. There's just, what are you doing? I need this. It's like, boom, and you're just like, you know. But it's just, that's the way that they are. Right. And coming in, and their brains work so fast that it's like all of this is coming out. Right. So and Lexi's a Gemini, but that's the, when you sit back and you start to listen, you start to understand, you start to align. Right. And coming into that alignment is so, so important. This is some of the things that we're going to start seeing is genuine religion will disappear day by day. People will be unclean, untruthful, merciless, short-lived, and weak of memory. They're not going to remember things. So that's why it's so important to remember your history. That's why so many times when I do readings, I say, know your ancestry. Understand where your grandmother came from, your grandfather came from. Understand that lineage. There's a wealth of knowledge that's there for you. Wealth alone will not indicate a person's social status. It's not going to be by the wealth. The wealthiest people that you're going to see in the next 2 years are those who have food, not the bank accounts, because the bank accounts, everything, it's going to go to pot. So it's going to be the ones who know how to grow food, no ones who know how to store food, the people who know how to prepare foods and have them last longer. That's why it's so important right now. Educate yourself. Educate yourself on how you can leverage yourself that way. That's going to be so important. You're going to see that so many people within the next couple of years, because there's going to be hyperinflation, that's going to happen. People are not going to be able to afford their houses. They're not going to be able to afford their cars. So this is where you have to be innovative and understand how to leverage oneself and be prepared. That's all part of this energy of the change and of the transformation to bring us into a golden age. It's not going to happen probably within our, because we're on the cusp. We are on the cusp of it. And so many people want to be in the middle of it, eating the middle of the pie. Sorry, we're on the crust of the pie. We haven't even got to the juicy part. And that's why it's so frustrating, because we have witnessed within our own lives, where we have tasted the pie. We've tasted goodness. We've been able to create some really beautiful and powerful things within our lives, within a reality within our world. And now we've been pushed out of that, because it's like, there's been too many people who've been too greedy, not willing to share, not willing to allow for that beautiful scrumptious and that oozing of the beautiful parts of the pie, the juice, to spread. So those with power and influence will escape justice and float the law. Are we seeing that? Are we seeing power and influence of people around us escaping justice? And they flaunt the law. It's like, whatever. We just had Biden say, I overruled the Supreme Court. No, there's a reason why there's a Supreme Court. It's because you could be an asshole and not know. There's a reason why. And that's why it's so important to have those things in place to hold people accountable. In the place of marriage, men and women will live together simply due to romantic attraction. That's a huge controversial one, because when Pluto went into Libra, and that was in the 80s, that was when, and Saturn was there as well. That was a whole change in how you had a concept of relationships, how relationships started to change, and the concept of marriage started to change, where many are afraid of a full-blown commitment. It's so easy to be that's why so many times when people have lived together for so long, they get married, because, oh my God, now this is a true commitment and I cannot escape it. I can't run out the back door. I have to be fully committed into this relationship. And many will argue with me, which is fine. They won't like what I'm saying here. They're like, well, I'm in a committed relationships. I've never fooled around on my wife or on my girlfriend. We've been together for 20 years, 30 years. Cool. God bless you. I mean, yes, I've seen it too. But I'm saying, when there is a whole union, a hand fasting coming together, that you are coming together with a full commitment within that, and how that is celebrated. The next is that you're going to find the worth of a man or a woman will be judged according to their expertise in sex. What are we finding? These are, when I was reading these, I was just like blown away, because I'm just like, holy crap. That's what's going on right now. We are at this. And widespread famine and excess taxes, and people will be forced to flee to the forests and mountains. I'm just like, wow, hyperinflation, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? People aren't going to be able to afford, because the thing is that with the BRICS, what they're doing is that they're hoarding a lot of American dollars, and what the Americans are going to be fucking stupid to do, they're probably going to take all that money back. Like, oh, okay. That's going to cause a huge hyperinflation. That's what it is. They're going to flood the market with US dollars. Because our dollar isn't backed by gold. We have no freaking gold backing in Canada at all. and neither does the States. So in reading these and seeing this, it's just like, wow. Now this was written thousands of years ago. And saying this is what we are coming in, and the maximum duration of life will be 50 years because people aren't taking care of themselves. People are not exercising. So what are they saying right now? If you exercise, you're far right or something like that. Exercise, body shaming. You can't body shame. It's okay to be fat. No, it's not okay to be fat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel sorry when I see a fat kid. I really do. Because that means that parent is not paying attention to what that child is eating. Yes, there are disorders with thyroid and blah, blah, blah. But there's treatment. There's treatment. And I honestly do. I prayed so hard that I would not have fat children. I really did. Because I was considered a fat child as myself. And that's because my mother wasn't always around to see what I was eating. Right? And then I got through to body shaming and everything else as I got into being a teenager. Whole different topic. But when you see a young 8-year-old who is obese, like you see an 8-year-old that is like 100 and some plus pounds, you're not allowed to say, hey, you know what? Let's get this child into some exercise, right? Let's get this child into some kind of exercise. Let's get them working. Let's get them motivated. What are they eating? And then you see what they're eating in their lunch is all processed food. And you're like, holy shit, that's not good. That's not good. Right. And you're bullied by weight. Yeah. And the thing is that when you look at pictures from the 40s and 50s, you really didn't see a fat kid. Very odd that you saw a fat kid. It was maybe they called it big boned. Maybe it was a bigger boned child, but not to the extent of obesity that is today. And that shortens your life. That shortens your life. So now you're going to see a lot of people, a lot more deaths, and that's what we're going to be experiencing, especially as Pluto goes, into Aquarius, going back and forth, and we're already seeing the excess amount of deaths. We're seeing young people at the age of 25 have heart attacks. We're seeing children being born with myocarditis. Well, that's going to shorten life. Right? Awakening. This is what's really awakening within us. And this is what we need to be aware. This is not to scare you. This is to awaken you and say, hey, what do we need to do? And many times people are like, oh, this is just bullshit. Well, it might be bullshit, but by the end of this era, this dark ages, human beings will be reduced size. The Vedas will be completely forgotten, and the leaders of society will be thieves. And that's why it's so important for all of us to find our practice, to find that meditation, to find that kriya or those prayers and bring them in and continue and allow them to be chanted. And people will have no other professions than simply cheating, killing, and stealing from one another. This is horrific. This is horrific. These are where we, and this
okay,
is, whoops.
I found this on the web for These Are. Check it out.
Sorry. Somehow Siri just popped on. That I fear with my Olivia, I lose sleep over her obesity. Yeah. It is, when I see extremely, like, okay, when I was looking for a man, I was exercising, I was eating right, I was out there, I was doing things right. Sirius has an Irish accent, I know. You want it to be in shape, you want it to look good, right? And that's the whole thing, is like, you want to feel sexy, and to me it really, it was great when being smaller. Yes, I gained weight after having 4 kids and whatever else. I can make up so many excuses. But even before I started work in my muggle job, I gained quite a bit of weight for being at home, and I did lose some weight. And you can sort of, like, sometimes my face is skinny, sometimes it's not. But I know how I lost some weight, and I don't want to put that back on. So what do I want to do? I want to make sure I'm exercising. I want to make sure I'm not overeating on things, right? Or drinking too much wine and then pigging out on cheese. So that's the thing, is that when we are in this energy, and that's, last night, for those who were in my Dharma of Love class, the Kriya that we're doing, really helps with this energy, really helps us to ground, right? Gotta fly, kids waiting on me. Blessings. Love you. Have a great day, Dana. But this is what's so important, is finding these things. And this is even for those who said the rosary. The rosary is a gift that was given to us, whether you believe it or not, whatever. But there's prayers that you say. You say the Hail Mary 40 times in there. You say the Our Father 10, 10, 11, 12 times, I think, in there. So there's prayers that you say, that you repeat, right? You're bringing that energy in, and you're bringing that energy around you. I mean, that's, how many who are raised within, say, Catholicism don't know what the rosary is, or haven't ever said it. Bringing those prayers in, bringing that energy in, and how you want to move people away from God, move people away from beliefs. That's the scary part. And that's where we're at, especially within the astrology, within the energy, and it's really going to make things push. This week is going to be another crazy, hectic week. This week is going to be bringing in some cray-cray. It's going to, and I think,
more coffee?
I still have some, thank you. I still have coffee. And I wrote it in my blog today about some of the things that are going to be coming up this week. So being Leo season. So happy birthday to all the Leos out there. So remember, if you have a Leo in your life, don't forget their birthday. So Cancer helped us to incumbent our dreams and ideas for the future. Leo season is where we are boldly launching them into the world. So the Leo really wants to bring that energy out there. So today, we have Chiron has gone retrograde. He's the wounded healer, moves into the annual retrograde period. Most of our spiritual healing begins happening within us. So there's physical events that materialize and trigger us in the outside world. So a lot of people are going to be triggered. They're going to be hurt. So there's a lot of hurt that's going to be coming in, especially with that Chiron retrograde. And this is for the next 5 months until December 27th. And this will be a good time for us to doing our own self-directed healing work through journaling, meditation, past life recall, reading books, or listening to podcasts that can help you dig deeper and beneath the surface. So this energy is going to really coming into your psyche to understand where you hold yourself back, and being honest with that. Being honest to where you are stuck, and why are you stuck there? What is that stuckness? And for me, I know one of my stuckness is that being such an empath, that I feel everybody else's sadness, or I feel whatever there's going on, and I take it, but it's like, that's not mine. That's theirs, and they have to deal with their own stuff, and I can't play into it. And that's a real big one for me. Always has been, especially with my kids and husband. Mercury's going to square Uranus, and there's some tension in the air by causing a bit of anxiety to you and others around you. That may make us want to jump out of our skin and do something a bit crazy. Nerves are going to be frayed more easily, especially with Uranus. So if you find yourself feeling burnt out, paranoid, or totally out of whack, be sure to take some time out to limit outer stimuluses, and sink back into your own body, breathing, grounding, getting into that groundiness. Stand up, put your feet out there on the ground, in the dirt. Get yourself into, out of this stuckness by trying to completely, new approach to things. Try a new mantra, try something new, right? Don't get stuck in the same old, right? Try yourself something. That's why in what we're doing right now is our movement. Sit there in your chair and just allow yourself to move any way your body wants to move. Don't get stuck doing the same movement. If you're always doing this, do this. Ooh, 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 ooh. Go crazy, right? Try something different. Move in a different way. Go in a different, direction than what you've always done. All right, that's going to help us with the energies that are coming in so strongly today and over this next week. So thank you all. If you are, today's my last day of my reading sale. 2 1-hour readings, $150. If you are interested, today's the last day. They are online. Okay, just saying. If anybody wants me to go to their house, there's an extra charge for that for me to drive there, because the hour is not an hour then. I know when I go to somebody's house, there's tea, there's coffee. It's not that I walk in there and then I leave within an hour. It's usually an hour and a half, 2 hours. So if for me to go to somebody's house, there's an extra charge. And it starts at $25. And if I go over the hour, then we're going to be starting to charge more. So just saying. So everything is online. Yeah, there you go. Going to send you guys out so much love. May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you, and all that you say, and all that you be, and all that you do. Sending you out so much blessings. Blessed be everybody. Have a fabulous, fabulous Sunday. Enjoy. And embrace your day. Be the truth of who you are. Be the light, and don't let anybody diminish that light. Blessed be. Bye-bye. Yeah.